Close your eyes for a moment. Take a deep breath. Now imagine standing before a completely unknown sky, a sky where the stars don't shine like those on Earth, and where the silence isn't silence, but an eternal echo of distant storms. Imagine that your feet don't touch the ground. You are floating, enveloped by colorful gases that move in gigantic swirls. All around you, everything pulsates with a raw and mysterious energy. Above, an immense sky stretches out like a living canvas, painted by dancing lights, wandering moons, and phenomena that seem to come from a dream. But this place is not fiction. It exists more than 600 million kilometers away. Jupiter, the giant of our solar system. A world not made to be inhabited, but to be contemplated from a distance, and perhaps imagined with reverence. Today, we will take a journey not with rockets, but with the mind. A dive into the unknown in search of the answer to a simple but powerful question. What would it be like to see Jupiter's starry sky with your own eyes? Prepare yourself, because what comes next defies everything we call night. To understand Jupiter's sky, it's first necessary to understand where we are. Jupiter is not a planet like Earth. There is no soil where we can plant our feet, no mountains, no oceans, at least, not as we know them. What exists is an immensity of gas in overlapping layers, compressed by a gravity so intense that everything there seems to weigh 10 times more. The atmosphere is a spectacle in itself. Bands of clouds in shades of brown, white, and red stretch for thousands of miles, like vivid brushstrokes in constant motion. At the center of this chaos, a colossal storm has been swirling for centuries. The Great Red Spot, larger than the entire planet Earth. If we were there, suspended by some imaginary technology, at the boundary between light and shadow, we would see an alien landscape, a horizon without end, where one day is never the same as the last. But it's at dusk, when the sun sets among the dense gases, that the true spectacle begins. Because when darkness falls on Jupiter, it is the sky that takes center stage. As night falls on Jupiter, something extraordinary happens in the sky, a cosmic parade of moons. And we're not talking about small white dots like the ones we see from Earth. Here, the moons are true worlds in motion, so close and so large that they seem to defy the very concept of a moon. The four largest, called the Galilean moons, are visible to the naked eye with impressive clarity. Each one adds a unique element to the night scene. Io, for example, is a volcanic inferno in constant turmoil. From Jupiter, its yellowish glow pulses with warm hues, reflecting the fire that exists within it. It looks like a living jewel, unstable, unpredictable. Europa, on the other hand, is a globe of ice. Its surface reflects sunlight like a silent mirror, and at night, its pale glow conveys serenity, an invitation to contemplation. Ganymede, the largest moon in the solar system, appears gigantic in the sky. So imposing that it could be mistaken for a planet, it displays patterns of rock and ice as if they were maps of a world yet to be explored. And Callisto, silent and dark, seems to lurk from the depths of the sky. Marked by craters, it recalls the violent past of the solar system. These moons orbit rapidly, completing revolutions in a matter of days. Because of this, Jupiter's sky is always changing. The moons rise and set, eclipse each other, align themselves. And with each new night, the spectacle begins again. But this sky isn't just made up of celestial bodies. There's something else, something that dances and shines with an almost mystical intensity. When darkness dominates Jupiter's horizon, it doesn't bring silence, but spectacle. Instead of a tranquil sky, a stage of pure energy emerges, electrical storms that would make any terrestrial lightning seem like a harmless spark. The lightning on Jupiter is monstrous. Detected by the Juno probe, it has enough energy to illuminate clouds thousands of kilometers away. The atmosphere rotates with force, and clouds of ammonia and water collide in violent rhythms, producing electrical discharges that cut across the skies in deadly silence. At least, for us, who can only observe them from afar. But the most mesmerizing phenomenon happens at the planet's poles, the Jovian auroras. Unlike Earth's auroras, which last minutes or hours, Jupiter's can remain active for days, even weeks. And they don't just appear in the visible spectrum. They shine in ultraviolet with an intensity 100 times greater than those on our planet. Created by the interaction between Jupiter's powerful magnetic field and the solar wind, these auroras ignite with the help of its own moons. Io, for example, constantly feeds this cosmic dance with a rain of electrically charged particles. The Jovian sky, therefore, is not just starry. It pulsates, shines, and vibrates like a living organism. But when the storm quiets down, something even deeper is revealed. When, at last, the storms subside and the moons drift to the other side of the planet, Jupiter's sky reveals its most serene, and perhaps most astonishing, aspect, a blanket of stars so intense, so profound, that it seems to envelop whoever gazes upon it from all sides. This happens because Jupiter is almost 5 times farther from the Sun than Earth. This distance considerably reduces the sunlight reflected in the atmosphere and surrounding particles, making the sky incredibly dark. With less light interference, the stars shine with their full intensity. To an observer floating there, the Milky Way would appear denser, more vibrant. Constellations previously subtle would gain prominence. Nebulae, distant galaxies, and star clusters would emerge with impressive clarity. The darkness would reveal everything that Earth's light usually hides. Imagine seeing Andromeda with your own eyes, or distinguishing the bluish glow of a young star, contrasting with the reddish hue of a dying giant. It would be like looking at an infinite ocean of lights that never repeat. This sky, so much clearer, would also make us realize something surprising: how small we are in the face of cosmic vastness, and at the same time, how privileged we are to be able to observe it. But even in this scene, there is a different point of light. A familiar point, albeit distant. It is the Sun, but not as we know it. Over 778 million kilometers from Earth, the Sun seen from Jupiter is a timid, almost modest beacon. It is still the brightest star in the sky, but its presence has lost the splendor we know here. There is no longer that golden disk that warms the skin. There, it looks more like an extremely luminous point, something between a star and a very bright planet. Its apparent diameter is 5 times smaller than what we see from Earth. The light that emanates from it is cold, filtered by hundreds of millions of kilometers of empty space. And yet, it is enough to fuel the spectacle of clouds and auroras, to cast long shadows over the gaseous layers of the planet. At times, when looking at this small, bright, a strange sensation arises. Of distance, yes, but also of connection. It is the same Sun that warms our days, that marked the origin of life and governs the cycles of time on Earth. Seeing the Sun from Jupiter is like looking at home from cosmic exile, a reminder of where we came from, and a hint of all that we can still achieve. After all that we have seen, it's hard not to reflect on what Jupiter's sky teaches us. A spectacle of indescribable beauty and immense power, but also a reminder of our own fragility and our connection to the cosmos. The experience of observing Jupiter is not just an exercise in scientific curiosity. It places us before the vastness of the universe, confronts us with the infinite, and challenges us to question our place in the world. Jupiter, with its furious storms, its wandering moons, and its sky full of mysteries, is the personification of cosmic chaos that, paradoxically, creates order and beauty. That sky, with its stars twinkling in a deep mantle and its auroras dancing to their own rhythm, also speaks to us about time. Every moment we spend looking at it is a reminder that the cosmos is immense and eternal, while our existence, although full of meaning, is finite. But perhaps Jupiter's greatest teaching is humility. Looking at the gas giant and its alien landscapes, we realize how small our understanding of the universe is, but also how infinite our capacity to imagine and explore is. In the end, Jupiter's sky invites us to dream, to imagine, and to continue exploring, because the unknown, after all, is the true limit of humanity.